Beep, 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 beep. Morning. I say morning, it's 20 to 2. It's dark out, look. Windows open though, see? Spring. Spring has sprung! Right, hello, come on, now. What are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about Ellie Rubashkin. Right? Ellie Rubashkin. There's nothing I like more than a frustrated drama queen, and this, by all intents and purposes, and purely in my own opinion, is a frustrated drama queen. Now, for those of you who aren't in the know, God, can there be any of those left on the planet? But New Zealand took a dump in its own mouth. Right? Kelly J. Keane, the indomitable Posie Parker, took a trip to New Zealand to Auckland, I believe it was. Auckland, as we saw, there was a terrible, terrible situation, very dangerous. I talked about that previously in one of my videos, but that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is, I'm going to say it again, Ellie Rubashkin, right? Who looks to me like a self-loathing gay man, right? Okay. And this is in a piece of shite of a newspaper called News Stalk ZB. They must be bloody desperate, right? So this is the individual who poured tomato soup over Kelly J. Keane. Posie, right? Have some tomato soup, okay? And then was obviously grabbed by security, fell to the floor in their high heels, exposing their masculine thighs. Masculine thighs. And it promptly went down like a sack of spuds. And is now making all sorts of complaints and moans about it. Now, this person is obviously unwell. I'm sorry, that's the only conclusion that I can come to, is they're obviously unwell. It's like watching somebody with a terrible mental illness have a complete meltdown in public. If they're not unwell, then they're mad, right? That's the only way to say it, right? They're either unwell or they're mad. So let's have a look at this News Stalk article, and then we'll talk a bit about what this man's been up to, right? So it's got a picture of him smiling. Well, sort of smiling, just looking vaguely calm in a moment of sanity. Oh dear. The person who tipped a litre of tomato juice on anti-trans speaker Posie Parker has not yet heard from police. Has not yet heard from police. That means the police are coming. But believes the call is coming. I don't think it'll be a call, Ellie. I think it'll be an arrest. You nasty little violent man. If and when it does, Ellie Rubashkin, Ellie Rumpelforeskin, Ellie Rumpelforeskin. Smelly Rumpelforeskin. Stop it. Okay, is prepared and has had around 40 offers from lawyers happy to help. I'm delighted to help you after you poured tomato juice over somebody, right? I have had 5 death threats and people emailing my work trying to get me fired, Rubashkin told the Herald. 5? Try harder. They are messaging me on Twitter. Good Lord. People sending messages on Twitter. When will this madness end? They are messaging me on Twitter and social media and trying to find out where I live. But the support has been greater. The love has been greater. Deranged. Rubashkin, who was born intersex and is gender non-conforming. Yeah, I'm calling liar. Small dick, I reckon, right? The support has been overwhelming, so I'm quite happy to be proved wrong, but it won't happen, will it? Nobody's going to actually ask the question. The support has been overwhelming, so I know if there are charges, it will be okay. The fact that the support is overwhelming doesn't mean that the charges are going to be okay. What a stupid person. This is an individual who thinks that the law is done by consensus. It's okay, let him go. Right? Now, public opinion can have an influence on the law, of course, but not in this case. I think probably if they do arrest you, which they should, because New Zealand is now looking like a festering shithole of trans tedium, and I'm sure the New Zealand board of whatever it is, come here and see us, marketing board, won't be very happy with what's happened today. Probably a bit of the old going on, you know, not a happy group at all. But it was fun. Watching people respond to this is quite funny because they get all confused and upset about it. So there was another one of these nutcases online, and somebody said New Zealand today, with all these men behaving in the way they were, looks like Lord of the Flies, with obviously a reference to the fact that, leave a group of men together and they turn into monsters. That was the whole point, wasn't it? Lord of the Flies. William Gibson, I forget. But anyway, Lord of the Flies said, New Zealand today looking like Lord of the Flies, to which one of the stupid gender ideologues, queer theorists, have put underneath, I think you mean Lord of the Rings. That made me laugh out loud. It's like, no, I meant Lord of the Flies, you illiterate bastard. Oh dear. New Zealand education system fallen to queer theists, does it? From what I know, right, so Rubashkin, who was born intersex, the gender non-conforming, said the support have been overwhelming. I know if there are charges, it will be okay. From what I know, Posie Parker herself will push for charges. You think you assaulted somebody and they won't push for charges? I'm a victim in a dress. Parker, real name Kelly J. Keane Minchell, was due to speak at a rally in Auckland on Saturday morning, but was met with more than 2,000 supporters of trans rights. No. Was met with more than 2,000 supporters of anti-women's rights. They're anti-women supporters, that's what they are. With tomato juice in her hair and on her face, Parker abandoned the rally after noise from the crowd made it impossible to be heard. She didn't abandon it because it was noise from the crowd was made impossible to be heard. She abandoned it because it was dangerous. Because they are mental cases. They're nutters, right? Rubashkin said, well, all they did was tip tomato juice. It was met with aggression. You think? At least our pissed off tranny poured it over himself. Rumpelstiltskin said, well, all they did was tip tomato juice. It was met with aggression. After the tomato juice bottle was pulled from a handbag and tipped over Parker, Rumpelstiltskin was dragged off by Parker security and claims to have been bashed and bitten. Now, I've been dragged off by security a few times. Being naughty, right? In bars and things, a bit loud, bit drunk, right? But I never remember them going, right, get him out. Yep. Have you got it? I've got one arm. Yep, you got the other. I've got the other. Right, lift. Right, now bite him. Insane. They dragged me off, dropped me on the floor, beat me, hit my head, and bit me. So somebody bent down like a zombie from Dawn of the Dead or The Walking Dead and bit you, did they? Rumpelstiltskin? Did they? Right, okay. They dragged me off, dropped me on the floor, beat me, hit my head, and bit me. It broke the skin, Rubashkin said. Yeah, could you sense a bit of that weird doctor thing where he hurt himself in a lecture theatre? They all do it, don't they? Sort of, cut me, bite me. That's what he's saying to his mates. All I did was tip some juice. Is that all you did, was it? Was to tip some juice. Right, okay. They don't get it, see. They think that they're warranted because they think that speech is violence. That's what you get, right? When people say that speech, that's what you get from hate speech laws, is people think speech is violence. Talk about seed-bedded this. We certainly seed-bedded this nonsense. All I did was tip some juice. Posie Parker spent £10,000 there, and I spent $10,000, and I spent $2.50 on the juice. I don't understand that comment. It's a really strange thing to say. Does that mean if he'd had £10,000, he'd have bought more juice? What would it have been? Would it have been a truck of juice? A truck of juice. No? What about a balloon of juice? He could have flown the balloon of juice above Posie Parker, and then scuppered the balloon, and the juice would have gone all over Posie Parker. Despite the hate and death threats, Rumpelstiltskin said they would do it all again. There you go, some people never learn. I would do it all again. I would put myself at the forefront of the war by pouring vegetable juice on someone. You wanker. Right, okay. With everything I've been through in my life, this is nothing. Okay, well, why are you making such a fuss then? When I see all of the things that are happening to my people around the world, who's he talking about? My people around the world, like in the US, new laws and 410 bills to make it illegal to be trans. This is nothing. Nobody's making it illegal to be trans, you hyperbolic whinge beetle. Nobody. Absolutely nobody is making it illegal to be trans. Now here's the scary bit. The qualified chemist and pharmacist, they're a scientist. How did that get through the filtration system? How did he get through the filtration system as a scientist without somebody going, hang on a minute, you're teaching a nutter? How did he get through the filtration system? New Zealand's best and finest. I reckon that ain't true. He's probably a drug dealer. That's just New Zealand being New Zealand, isn't it? Which is now a festering shithole of trans tedium. The qualified chemist and pharmacist said they would do anything to keep out hate out of Aotearoa. Aotearoa, I think that's the place. This person was coming to my safe haven, my place that makes me feel the safest I have ever felt in my entire life, and the happiest. This woman comes here to spread her hate, and I say no, be no bitch. There you go, no bitch. Get your effing hands off my Aotearoa. Is that is that a euphemism? Get your fucking hands off my Aotearoa. I'm sure that most people have no intention of going near your Aotearoa. I imagine Aotearoa is a beautiful place with lovely people. Shame it didn't show it the other day, wasn't it? We cannot let that hate come here. This woman comes here to spread her hate, and I say, no bitch. The maleness screams out, doesn't it? You nasty, nasty little man. Rumper Foreskin also had a message from the LGBTIQA+ community to other outspoken, it says anti-trans campaigners, but it should say to outspoken women's rights campaigners. They don't like the women speaking, do they? For someone like J.K. Rowling, I'm thinking perhaps some alphabet soup might be good. So, yep, really? He's after his 15 minutes of fame. That's what he's doing. He's a performer. He's a queer performer. What we're seeing here is queer performance. Get it? Queer performance only, which was followed by, just so that you know. Let me finish this little bit first. For someone like J.K. Rowling, I'm thinking perhaps some alphabet soup might be good. Police confirmed they were looking into all reports of offending during the event. They didn't make any arrests on the day. Well, they didn't make any arrests on the day because they weren't there. There's going to be egg on face about this. I don't know what's going to happen, if there's going to be an inquiry or something, but I think something will happen. We'll have to see. Although you wouldn't think so when the bloke who runs New Zealand got on television and just obfuscated and talked cobblers for 5 minutes. It's what's happened after has been quite interesting. Because they've disappeared. They've gone off the face of the planet in terms of social media. You can't find them, obviously. But it says here, here's a couple of things. See, there's some interesting stuff about this person. Any Rumper Foreskin, brackets, they, slash them, close brackets, right? Cool, what a surprise. Right? Should we say any Rumple's called Foreskin, attention-seeking twat? Asked, brackets, close brackets. GIESC, Programme Officer at ILGA World. ILGA World is a major player in the LGBTQIA+ world. Funny that, eh? So this guy, who's a major player in the LGBTQI hands, knees and bumps and daisy people world, pours tomato juice over Kelly J. Keane and then gets himself in trouble and gets some international attention. He then promptly screams, I'm the victim, went on to Twitter, Facebook, I think it was. I'll see if I can find it. Crying. I over you. I have had so much hate. The hate. And oh, baby. It was a terrible performance, by the way. Terrible, you know. You look like Julia. Is it Julia Stevenson in that bloody, what was it called? Alan Rickman, where he's dead and plays a cello. What was that called? Oh, Truly, Madly, Deeply. She spent the entire film with snot running out of her nose. It was a bit like that. A terrible performance. It was a 4 out of 10 for the Oscars, you know. And then 5 minutes later, he was accusing the press of being Nazis. I think this person's deeply, deeply unwell. But that's okay. If we get you arrested and things happen, we can get you some treatment so that you don't do this type of thing again, you absolute lunatic, vile man. This is what happens when you don't say no to kids and do it firmly. So, I'll put it in the Dubris, right? Hell, you know, what's going on? This is an absolute lunatic now on the world stage representing New Zealand. New Zealand's going, oh, God, no. It's like a sort of a global drama along the lines of like Pet Sematary, where you've got the, you know, the disturbed and distorted relative in the cupboard. You know, who's hidden away because they're violent and murderous. The beast in the cellar is out, New Zealand. I'm afraid you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So, yeah, there we go. Just made me giggle a bit. Become a warrior teacher, buy me a coffee, blah, blah, blah. It's coming to the end of the month. Buy me a coffee if you can. Last call for the warrior teachers. Come on, folks. Enrolment coming next week, meeting on the 2nd of April. If you want to come to the Q&A, let me know. All right, have a good day. Ta-da.